Have you ever seen one of these smart pet collars? These collars allow you to locate your cat or dog whenever it goes, but the thing is that for these collars to work, they require internet connection wherever they are. So, you usually need to pay a monthly subscription fee for the cellular data plan of the device. And as you may know, cellular data plans are not that cheap. And just like these smart collars, there are a lot of other smart devices that need internet connectivity to collect and send data, like electric scooters, weather sensors, parking sensors, and even mouse traps. And yes, they do exist, so all these devices need internet connection at affordable rates and with large coverage, and that is where Helium comes into play. Welcome to Cryptobie, where we explain cryptocurrencies and DeFi topics in the most simple and beginner-friendly way. In this video, you will know what is the Helium network and how it actually works, and at the end, we will talk about some tokenomics of the Helium HNT token. So grab a snack and let's get started. So, what is Helium? Simply, Helium is a decentralized wireless network for smart devices. These smart devices we talked about earlier are also called IoT devices. IoT stands for Internet of Things, and it can be used to describe any device that connects to the Internet to send and receive data, like GPS trackers, smart light bulbs, parking sensors, and air quality sensors. So, Helium is a wireless network for these IoT devices that need to connect to the Internet. The Helium network consists of a lot of hotspots all over the world. You can think of these hotspots as routers, but instead of transmitting Wi-Fi signal, they transmit a signal called LoRa, which Helium calls long-fi. This type of signal sends very small amounts of data over much larger range than Wi-Fi, where its signal can reach up to 15 kilometers in perfect conditions. As of the time of this video, there are more than 850,000 hotspots all over the world, and the number is increasing very fast, with the majority of hotspots in the United States and Europe. All these hotspots allow a lot of IoT devices to send data over the Internet at cheap rates using very low power. You may be wondering who runs all these hotspots. Remember when we said that Helium is a decentralized wireless network? Decentralized here means that the network is not owned by a single company, but owned by a lot of people who buy and operate these hotspots to earn money in exchange for helping build the network. So you may hear Helium call the network the people's network. So, as we have said, these hotspot owners earn HNT tokens for providing internet for IoT devices, and we will get into the details in a minute. But we should mention here that Helium is actually planning to expand into 5G and Wi-Fi. They aim to build a decentralized 5G network and a decentralized Wi-Fi network. These two networks can provide internet access to smartphones and laptops and can be used for streaming, texting, or anything you can do on your internet connection, unlike the IoT network, which can only send very small data packets to specific devices. In the future, the hotspot owners of each network will be rewarded with different tokens that can all be redeemed for HNT. But currently, only the IoT network is functional and all hotspots are rewarded with HNT, with also some 5G hotspots available, but not in large numbers till now. Let's now get to how the Helium network and its blockchain actually works. So, Helium is a wireless network that aims to provide a large worldwide coverage for IoT devices. So the network has to make sure that the hotspots are online and transmitting signal where they claim they are. So the network is constantly testing the hotspots by a mechanism called proof of coverage. What happens is that validators on the Helium blockchain randomly choose hotspots to test. We will talk a bit more about these validators in a minute, but for now, what you need to know is that these validators are not hotspots, they are normal computers or servers connected to the Helium network. After a hotspot is chosen, the validator then sends some data packets, also called challenge packets, to the chosen hotspot and challenge it to prove that it is online and providing internet and that it is located where it claims to be. This chosen hotspot is usually called the challengee, and the validator is called the challenger. So after that, the chosen hotspot needs to transmit the received challenge packets to other nearby hotspots to prove that it is online and transmitting internet. These other nearby hotspots that see the transmitted challenge packets are called witnesses, and they have to send a receipt to the validator to confirm that they witnessed the challenge packets transmitted in their area. Then, the validator will store all the information received in the form of a transaction called proof of coverage receipt transaction that then gets added to block in the Helium blockchain, and then all the participants, the validator, the hotspot, and the witnesses get rewarded with HNT tokens. So, as you have seen, hotspots are rewarded for transmitting data for IoT devices. With the more data transmitted, the more they earn, and also for participating in proof of coverage. For the challengee, the more witnesses see the transmitted challenge packets, the higher the reward, but for the witnesses, the more witnesses in the same area, the lower the reward each one of them earns. Let's now get to the blockchain part of the network. So, the Helium blockchain stores the entire history of all activity on the network since its launch. You may be wondering, what types of transactions are processed through the Helium blockchain? Well, they are a lot, but few important ones are data transferred by hotspots and how much was paid for it. A user sending HNT to another user, the proof of coverage receipt transactions we explained earlier, the addition of new hotspots to the network, and also the rewards paid for the hotspots. The validators on the Helium network verify these transactions, create a block, and then add it to the blockchain, and currently a new block is added every 1 minute. As we have said, these validators are not hotspots, so don't confuse them with the hotspots transmitting long-fi signal to IoT devices. These validators are most of the times cloud servers running on AWS or Google Cloud, or simply normal computers connected to the network, and they have two roles on the Helium network. First, verifying transactions and creating blocks, and secondly, making challenges for hotspots in proof of coverage like how we explained. To be a validator, you need to stake or lock up 10,000 HNT tokens, which is around $100,000 as of the time of this video, and currently, there are more than 3,500 validators on the Helium network. If everything works well, and the validator has been set up and working correctly, it earns around 5% APY on the 10,000 staked HNT tokens. Just keep in mind that this 5% will decrease as more validators join the network. So, what about the consensus mechanism for the Helium blockchain? Well, Helium uses a variation of proof of stake called the Honey Badger Byzantine fault tolerant, which may sound a little intimidating, but don't worry, we will explain it simply. So, as you may know, like in any proof of stake system, validators need to lock up some tokens as a collateral for any misbehavior. In Helium, at any time only 43 out of the 3,500 validators are chosen to verify transactions and create new blocks. These 43 chosen validators are called the consensus group, and they change frequently, and we will explain how in a minute. But here, once any new transactions arrive, they get encrypted, and the validators in the consensus group need to work together to decrypt the transactions, verify them, and then add them to a new block in the blockchain. And this is actually what makes the Honey Badger mechanism different. The validators here have to work together, so no one validator can choose which transactions to include in the block, unlike other proof-of-stake models where one validator is chosen as the leader to create a block and other validators vote on his work. During the creation of new blocks, any validators misbehaving by, for example, being slow or even offline are given penalties, and the penalty score for each validator is known. After an epoch has passed, which is around 30 blocks, 25% of the consensus group validators are removed. Validators with the highest penalty scores have the highest chances of getting removed, but it is still random. Penalties just increase their chances. It is like having an additional entry in a draw. It increases your chances, but doesn't guarantee you getting picked up. Just like having high penalty scored doesn't guarantee that the validator will be removed. After that, new validators will be selected to replace the removed ones. Validators with the lowest penalty scores in previous epochs have the highest chances of getting chosen, but still is random, and having a low score doesn't guarantee getting chosen. After the new validators are selected, the consensus group begins its work creating blocks again until 30 blocks have been added, then 25% of them are replaced again, and so on. Let's now talk about the tokenomics of the HNT token, which is the native token on the Helium blockchain. So, HNT has two uses. First, it is used to reward hotspot owners and validators, and secondly, it is burned to generate data credits. Burning HNT tokens means destroying them and removing them from the supply forever. These data credits are tokens that cannot be transferred or traded on the market, and they are the only way to use the Helium network and buy data for your IoT devices. So, any IoT device that wants internet access through the Helium hotspots needs to burn HNT tokens to generate data credits and buy data packets. Also, these data credits are used to pay the transaction fees on the Helium blockchain anytime any user wants to send some HNT tokens to another user. The wallet automatically burns some HNT to get data credits to pay the transaction fees. So, how much data credits are generated by burning one HNT? Well, one data credit will always have a price of $0.00001. So, $1 will always give you 100,000 data credits. So, how much you get from burning one HNT will always depend on the current price of HNT. Let's say that the price of HNT is currently $5. So, the value of the one burnt HNT equals $5. So, $5 of HNT divided by the price of one data credit gives you 500,000 data credits. So, what if you burned 5 HNT tokens and the price of one HNT is $2? Well, the value of HNT in this case is $10, so you will get 1 million data credits. Let's now get to the supply of HNT. So, first of all, there is a maximum supply of 223 million tokens, and currently there are 120 million tokens already minted, with 2.5 million new HNT tokens get produced every month, which is around 30 million every year. But the thing is that this number reduces to half every 2 years, so after the next halving date, which is in 2023, there will be only 15 million tokens produced every year, and this number will keep reducing to half every 2 years until we reach the maximum supply of 223 million after 4 to 5 years from now, according to Helium. So we can say that HNT is currently inflationary, but in the future, and as more devices use the network and burn HNT to get data credits, HNT may become deflationary, especially with the decrease in the number of produced tokens every year. So you may be wondering, where does all these newly produced tokens go? Well, the distribution is currently like this. 33% goes to Helium and other investors, 6% goes to the consensus group, 26% goes to proof of coverage participants, and up to 35% goes to the hotspots that transmitted data to IoT devices, where they get rewarded with the same number of HNT tokens burnt to generate data credits. If that number is less than the 35% produced, the rest goes to the proof of coverage participants. Keep in mind that this distribution may change in the future. At the end of this video, we hope you learned what you need to know about Helium and how it works. And if you liked our video and want to reward our hard work, give it a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications so you don't miss our new videos. Thanks for watching.